there came a time, as I understand it, where you were in discussion with Andy, and he was talking to you about a new trick or a new part of his performance, right?
Yes.
What was it, sir?
He sent me a video of him performing at a theatre in Lowestoft, and it was his opening act, and I thought it was sublime.
Just pause for a second. Now, bearing in mind there are people who've been lucky enough to find themselves in the Sistine Chapel, standing there looking up at the work of the great Renaissance artists and gone, goodness me, it's sublime. Bearing in mind there are people that have sat listening to Beethoven's symphonies and thought, goodness me, how profound, how sublime. Or have stood at the top of the most exquisite vistas around the world, perhaps, I don't know, the wildebeest of Africa, and said, how profound, how sublime.
Yes.
You used the word sublime to describe what, sir?
He was playing musical bells on an ironing board, and it was hilarious and different and unique, and I thought it was really, really good.
No, you didn't. You thought it was sublime.
I did. You're quite right, Judge, I did.
It's been a challenging day for me, Andy. Let me have a look at your sublime performance. Now, the children seem to enjoying it a good deal, and it's very good. Now, there you are, you're with the ironing board, you cover the ironing board, etc. Now, there are bells. Don't suppose you do have an Agilla on them, do you? No. Excellent.
Bravo. Good, isn't it?
Sir, it's bells and an ironing board.
It's comedy gold.
It's what?
Comedy gold.
The ironing board, yes, Judge.
The ironing board is comedy gold. Just sort of wait a minute. Peter, where are you from originally?
Czech Republic.
I just want to say things are not lost in translation. And bearing in mind, he believes that he has what you call global intellectual property right over this. Looking at that, do you find this sublimely hilarious?
Not really.
What's his act?
He does a comedy impression show.
And here's the thing, people don't just pay to see him. When he's on the bill, the night seems to sell out, correct?
Does, yes. Yep.
Which means that people book him months in advance.
Yep, correct.
It's a guaranteed successful night.
Yes.
True?
Yep.
What sort of impressions do you do, sir?
Mrs. Brown, David Dickinson.
Who's that on the top left?
David Dickinson, Judge.
Can you do a bit of Dickinson for me?
Actually, David Dickinson, now that's a real deal for you, Judge, because can I just say that this little old lady came down last week and she brought with her a little black box that she'd found in the attic. She said, David, can you tell me what that is and what it's worth? I said, you silly old lady, that's your water tank.
Do you do me? Never mind. You supplied wigs. Before speaking to Clyde, how many wigs had you supplied?
For sort of various people. Up until that time, he was sort of a little bit later down the line, so up until that point, I'd probably done about 50 styled wigs.
How long does it take to style a wig?
It can take up to a week sometimes.
Up to a week sometimes? Well, what would you do?
Obviously, there's teas
Let me
in
tell
the
you,
wig.
sir, there are many things about this case, but when I ask you, how does one style a wig for a drag queen, starting the sentence in reply with, well, obviously. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
He asked for his money back, you're providing a service, whether you're a company or not, where's his money?
At the time, I'd given up work to sort of take doing wigs up full-time, and obviously, when I had people... Sorry to say obviously again. I had people at the time asking for their money back when, obviously, I'd bought a lot of stock. So, when I'd bought the stock, I just had a load of stock sitting around, and when people asked for refunds, I would have had to sell the stock to then get their refund, and obviously, I couldn't just sell the stock like that because, obviously, I couldn't get as much back for the refund without an actual full-time job.
Yes. Obviously. What did you do back then? Were you doing sort of different impressions?
I've played drums, I've been a DJ, I've done
Understood.
karaoke.
Right, you weren't doing sort of early impressions of Norman
Yes, I was.
Wisdom back then?
Yes, Judge, at the age of 7.
What was your first impression?
Norman Wisdom.
Come on, then.
I need the cap on first.
Stop, all right. Yes, you can stop now. Good. You are what loosely might be described as a performer, correct?
That is correct.
Well, except it's not very loose. You've been a performer since you were a child, correct?
That is correct.
So about 20 years ago, or thereabouts.
A little bit more.
Understood. Now, your special talent is what, sir?
Is impressions.
The thing about it is that you do various impressions, and over the years, some are more famous than others. There's Victor Meldrew, as I understand it. Any others?
Yes, certainly I would do Del Boy, Uncle Albert, Mr Bean, Ali G. I could go on and on.
Understood. In other words, you do characters from other shows. Do you do a Michelle or a Peter? Do you do me?
I would not do you. That'd be too disrespectful.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I would do Julie Clary, maybe. Oh, Graham Norton. but I certainly would not be disrespectful to do someone like you.
And it's in the theme of the television show.
Yes, it is.
Give me a best David Jason.
Well, you know, I'll go round all the tables, won't I, eh? And say, here, you Wally, you dipstick, eh? This time next year, I will be millionaires, won't we, eh? And most people would laugh.
I'm sure that they'd laugh very near you, sir, yes. I'm told by Paul that you ended up performing 40 minutes.
I can't remember if it was 40 minutes, all right? I was in
Can't get you off.
I did 6 songs and probably a couple of encores.
6 songs and a couple of encores?
Yeah, and
Some arias last for 5 minutes, sir.
Well, that's right.
Exactly.
Well, what was the song that the public most especially enjoyed?
Nessun Dorma, or Sole Mio.
Oh, Solomir, just me. Let's hear that. It's rather an homage to this case.
Right, OK. Manate sole, più bella ne, o solar mio stan fratiate, o sole, mio.
Good Lord. Not only is that splendid, Michelle, would you do me a favour? Could you go back to my chambers and go and get me a cornetto, please? Get me an ice cream.
Yeah, of course.
You promoted a whole number of these events, and you as the promoter want to ensure that you have what I'm going to call the best storylines, yes? Because you have to have a goodie and a baddie. Now, is the original Craig a goodie or a baddie?
I work as a goodie.
A goodie?
Yeah.
So you want the audience really cheering for you,
Yeah.
the young ladies to say, yes, it's the original Craig, hooray, hooray, that sort of thing.
Yes,
What's the
absolutely.
name of one of the baddies in your federation?
We've got several of them. Wolfgang probably being the biggest one at the moment.
What sort of things do you say when you're in the ring?
We might shout, come on, Dumfries, or something. Just
Come on, Well, there you are. Here's your
Yeah,
opportunity.
maybe
I'm trying to
something
get
just
you... this is actually important. Imagine for a second.
Just to show that I'm the goodie and the baddie. The baddie can say
All
something.
right,
to
I'll
get
be
everyone
Wolfgang.
to-
You can be you. Where's Wolfgang from?
Glasgow.
Of course.
So you'll have to try the accent, Judge.
Craig! I'm gonna get you! See my special suplex? Oh, you're right, Rogan.
Come on, Dumfries, let's take down this big fat Glaswegian.
don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.